I'm Gary Tuchek, I'm fire chief at Avery. Back in late 2013, we were notified by the Texas Forest Service that we had put in a grant for a military surplus 5-ton 6x6, which we were told there were none of, but we could put the grant in. And we had also, about that same time, put in a grant for a new fire truck through the Texas Forest Service on a 90-10 matching grant. Now, the funds for the new fire truck comes from a tax that is levied on homeowners insurance and fireworks sales, and it specifically goes to volunteer fire department, or to fire departments to be used for new trucks, training, PPE, bunker gear, that sort of thing. A couple of years ago, the state took 2/3 of that funding and reallocated it for something else. So that cut the funding, even though it wasn't supposed to be that way, it was cut by 2/3. So we were told we could put in for a new truck, but we weren't going to get one because there was just funds there for training and PPE that cut out everything else. Within a 2-month period, we found out the end of the financial year for the state, they had enough money left over that they awarded 4 new fire trucks in the state of Texas. Avery was lucky enough to get one of them. So we found out we were getting a new fire truck. It's going to be a 2014 F550 And at the same time found out we were getting a 5-ton 6x6 through the military because they had got some of them in. We've got the 6x6 converted now into a brush/water tender fire truck. Problem is, it won't fit in our building, which we were scared of when we put in for it, but we thought when it got there we would see. It will actually go in there, but you got about that much room on each side and about that much room on the top. And I've got one man that I would trust to back it in and out of that fire department. So what we're proposing, we're going to build an addition onto the fire station that the new truck will fit in. At the same time, I had suggested, Tracy came hiking through and she stayed camped beside our fire truck, and I gave her the key to the fire station so she could use our bath and shower facilities. So I suggested at the time we put in the addition for the fire station, since it sits right on the edge of the net, we would put in a camp/hostel room for use by people going down the net on a per use basis, donation basis type affair. Our construction costs, the construction itself will be done by members of our department. I've got some guys that's really sharp. Our material cost is going to be, and this is just concrete to dried in, it's on the back page there, the estimates we've got so far. It's going to be around $11,000, not counting what it's going to cost to finish out the hostel room and that sort of thing. And I brought that to the board meeting earlier today, and they did graciously give us $300 to get us started. What I'm basically here for is I need funding because I've got a new fire truck coming in. We're going to have to add on to the station, so it's kind of a perfect storm for us. But our yearly budget runs about $10,000 to $12,000 a year. I've got $12,000 in the bank right now. Now, we have done 3 fundraisers since December. We cleared about $6,900 off those 3 fundraisers, and we do plan on doing more. But
and some of that $6,900 is going to be allocated to this. And
it will be allocated to get the like concrete work and get that started.
It's not like they're coming and asking for us to build it for them. That's not what they're doing.
Just need help.
They're basically building the room for the truck, and they're asking us to help them with the hostel room for hikers
Kind
and
of trying to
bikers.
orchestrate a win-win deal here for both of us.
And we thought it was great. It's the first something that Avery is doing to say we're part of it, and so we thought it was great. So our board collectively voted to give them $300 of our money, and we're just giving them the opportunity to ask y'all to help too. So Gary, how would you communicate with people? What do you ask them to do?
My contact information's on that first page at the bottom. We are also, this is Brandon Canutt, he's the Church of Christ preacher there in town, which their church also backs up to the net. He's kind of a techie person, he's gonna help me set up
It is an online web-based fundraiser done through Fundly, Fundly. And Fundly is connected through Facebook, and I know a lot of you guys, I believe, it has the net is set up with a Facebook page where you were talking about at least 2 that I heard of. And this is connected through Avery Fire Department's Facebook page when I'm done with it, where you can either donate, whether you want to do it the old-fashioned way with a check, or you can do it by going through and connecting to this Fundly website and do it just as if you were paying or buying for something online, like PayPal or something to that effect. And I believe PayPal is one of the accepted payments, if I'm correct. So it's very simple. It's very stripped down. Once you click over to, once we get it up and going, you can click on the Fundly. It takes you where it gives you information on what we're raising, the amount we're raising, how much of a time limit we have to get the money, and then just where to donate. And you can either do that anonymously or you can leave your information on there. But it is something very stripped down, because one of the concerns usually about giving money to anything is the transparency. And the nice thing about Fundly, it is very transparent as to what we're raising for. And so that's why we chose to use it. I believe you had something.
I have a question. So we had talked about this a couple times when you were thinking about this idea. By the way, which I think it's great, because we had talked about how can you tell a little more about, how many bucks are you kind of planning on putting? What kind of amenities for the trail? Have y'all been able to nail some of that down?
We've nailed down part of it. We've kind of got the approximate room size is probably going to be like 8 by 25 or 9 by 25. It will have a bath and shower, a toilet and a shower in the back, in a bathroom. In the front, there will be like a laundry sink that you could use to wash trail clothes or whatever. Like a picnic table, and then a couple of bunks.
Is this what I'm seeing here? Is it like 2, 3 little cots or something like that? Where
Right,
people
yeah.
can get down?
It will be a very simple
That's good.
type room, but it will be heat and cooled and have hot and cold when there ain't any water, where
Great.
you can get in out of the elements. And
That's great, especially if it rains.
if you want to camp in front, just use the shower and the whatever facility.
I believe we've also spoken of putting in some way that we can also provide information not only for the fire department but also for the net, so we could use an area of the wall on the outside where the hostel would be, where we could have some of that information where y'all can provide it, or even for the fire department. We've talked about that, just the best way to have that, where the integrity of the information stays good. But we've even talked about using that so we can support the net that way.
Or what about potentially putting in something to tie up a horse and give a horse some water out there? Is
Yeah,
that
we're
something y'all are looking
right.
at?
Yep.
That's great.
Yep. And I own horses. Me and my wife ride horses. The only thing I worry about on the horse deal, if someone's staying the night with a horse, we do have the heliport or the helipad just adjacent. God forbid we had to bring a helicopter in to fly somebody out. The horses might be
Big gone.
a small problem, but that doesn't happen but a half a dozen times a year normally that we have to fly somebody out for some reason. And also, just is from the responder standpoint, just knowing who's on the net and who's in our area going up and down, because if something happens to somebody that's on the trail, this is probably the first 2 faces you're going to see if you call 911.
Sorry.
All right, Gary, thank you. Look, if y'all want to donate today, you can catch them before they leave. If you don't, you